The left introduces a new term. Ellen DeGeneres announces that she will be ending her talk show, and permitless carry in Texas continues to make progress. I'm Trey Cole. This is The Trey Cole Show. So before we get started, obviously it's been a few weeks since I've put a podcast out. I took 2 weeks off just for school with finals and things getting really busy there. And then last week I was sick, so I wasn't able to make a podcast. So I'm back, hopefully going to be back every Tuesday again, but we will get right into it. So the left has introduced a new term. A few weeks ago, we celebrated Mother's Day. But no longer does the left want to call that holiday Mother's Day, and instead it is now Birthing People's Day. Because being a mother is subjective. Being a mother would require, if it's called Mother's Day, for you to be a woman. And the left does not believe that you have to be a woman to be a mother. You don't have to give birth to be a mother. You can be a man who identifies as a woman and still be a mother. And so now the term is Birthing People's Day. Congresswoman Cori Bush had this to say on the congressional floor.
Every day, black women are subjected to harsh and racist treatment during pregnancy and childbirth. Every day, black women die because the system denies our humanity. It denies us patient care. I sit before you today as a single mom, as a nurse, as an activist, and as a congresswoman, and I am committed to doing the absolute most to protect black mothers, to protect black babies, to protect black birthing people, and to save lives. Thank you, and I yield back.
Congresswoman Bush was not the only one to use this language. While she consistently used the term mother and women, at the end she uses the term birthing people, and then in a tweet reuses it as well. Congresswomen Carolyn Maloney and Robin Kelly both used the term birthing people in replacement of the term mothers, referring to the holiday. And so it is a clear showing that these people know that it is required to birth to be a mother. But in order to be inclusive, in order to push a narrative, they are now claiming the term birthing people. These Democrats are degrading what it means to be a mother. Genesis 3 is very clear that women are given the responsibility of childbearing due to the fall. That is not the role of men. That is the role of women. And motherhood is an incredible thing that should be valued and celebrated. But instead, the left has taken it and twisted it to push their own far left, far-reaching narrative. And it speaks to a deeper issue in America and in our culture. And that is the issue of objective and subjective truth. The left says that all truth is subjective. You should go out and you should live your truth. So if you are a man and your truth is that you are a woman who is a mother, that is your truth. That is accurate. No one can tell you that you are not a mother, even though you are a man, even if you identify as a woman. And that is your right to identify as a woman, but that does not make it reality. And so the reality is that if you are born a man, you are a man. That God has given you a design, He's given you a calling, and He has called you to be a man. A woman who adopts a child, you are still their mother. But a man cannot be a mother. That is what this statement is trying to confuse. Is that a man that identifies as a woman, according to the left, can be a mother because it is subjective truth. It is your truth. But that is just not the reality of it. And in order to convince people of the subjective truth argument, the left doesn't acknowledge reality. And it knowingly misleads, twists words, and misrepresents issues to the public. And that is exactly what the left is doing with this term. The left wants to control and change language. But the reality is that birthing people are mothers. The left claims to empower women, but instead they are constantly degrading and confusing the lines between what it means to be a man and a woman. But not only that, they are now targeting Ellen DeGeneres, who I guess is no longer far enough left for them. That is the reality of cancel culture. And we deem a lot of things cancel culture, but not everything is. In this case, however, Ellen DeGeneres is being canceled. And it is very clear, in my opinion. Ellen has recently announced that the 19th season of her show will be her final season. And this comes after a lot of accusations and reports that she is not the kind person that she claims to be, and she doesn't incorporate the kindness that she claims to stand for in her daily life. This all started early on in the COVID era when Kevin T. Porter, who is a comedian, put out a tweet saying that he was going to donate $2 to a food bank for every reply that had a negative story about an encounter with Ellen. And in this tweet, he also said that Ellen was the notoriously the meanest person alive. Now, that doesn't sound like something a kind person would say, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be way off base, but I don't think that a kind person goes out in public on social media and says that another person is the meanest person alive and that they will actually give money to something if others have negative stories about them, about this person. So maybe Kevin T. Porter should look himself in the mirror before he calls out someone else, before he calls out Ellen, who uses her platform for a lot of good things, a lot of good messages. And while I don't agree with her politically or religiously on basically anything, she does a great job of promoting kindness. She's friends with Republicans, with conservatives that most on the left would never talk to, would deem inhumane. But she constantly shows the humanity in both sides. And because of this, the left has put a target on her back. And Kevin T. Porter is the hitman for the job. And so when he puts this tweet out calling her notoriously the meanest person alive and offering to give money to a charity for bad stories about her, tweets begin flooding in, talking about all of these negative interactions that people have had with Ellen. And not only Ellen, but her producers and the work environment as well. And so after this onslaught of tweets comes out and Ellen begins to face backlash for that, then it comes out that workers are complaining about their issues during COVID, their treatment during COVID, about not hearing about their job, not hearing what their roles were, what their job was going to look like during COVID. And then they were told they would have to take a pay cut. And that did not sit well with them. And then on top of that, Ellen hired a non-union company to help her record her show from home. And in my opinion, COVID hit all businesses very hard. And during the backlash that Ellen received after Kevin T. Porter's tweets, her ratings dropped significantly. So there was less money to give out to her employees. I don't think this was Ellen or her producers saying, oh, we just don't need to pay them as much because COVID has hit. I don't believe that narrative. I don't believe that train of thought. But that is what was being pushed. That is what has been pushed. And so you've got Kevin T. Porter targeting Ellen publicly. Then you've got these people that are replying to Kevin T. Porter's tweet, having all of these negative things to say about her. And then you have these employees claiming that they were treated poorly during COVID. You've got three different groups with either uncorroborated or anonymous accusations of negative interactions. You've got a blue checkmark comedian who has all of the money in the world putting a target on Ellen's back, and then you have these anonymous complaints about the work environment made to a news outlet. And all of this, combined with the most serious accusations that don't even involve Ellen, which are accusations of sexual misconduct by some of the executive producers, two of which have come out and said that these accusations are false, and one has not commented. But you've got these accusations of poor treatment of workers by Ellen not actually being a kind person behind the scenes, and actually the issue with the work environment is that it is run on racism and fear. And right after that comes out, you've got Kevin Hart, who comes out publicly and supports Ellen DeGeneres and says that she has been nothing but kind and loving to him and his family. And this is the same Kevin Hart that was canceled for making homophobic jokes early on in his career. And then Ellen comes out and accepts his apology, and they have become friends since then. And you got him coming out saying this is not like this framing of her, this narrative that is being driven about her, this is not the reality. But you still have people on the left, because of what she stands for, because of her stance on being kind to everyone, no matter what they believe politically or religiously, they believe she should be canceled no matter what. And they're going to find something to cancel her for. And so the natural response is racism and fear. Those are the two biggest issues with the work environment, according to these anonymous sources that will not come out and give their name publicly. And just like the birthing people issue, this situation speaks to a deeper issue in America and in our culture. And that is the issue of hate. That is the fact that we cannot care about one another if we disagree politically or religiously. Because make no mistake, that is the issue with Ellen. It's not that she's a mean person. It's not that she's not kind. It's that she cares about people on both sides. And that is why the left has decided that she no longer deserves a platform. The issue of hate in America continues to come in from both sides, from the right and the left. From racism and generalizations on both sides, you have this divide in our country. And so anyone that wants to attempt to mend that, anyone that wants to care about people on both sides of the aisle, is deemed to not have the right to have a platform. And that is what you are seeing with Ellen DeGeneres. And because of that, she is going to lose her talk show. She's saying that it's because she needs to be pushed creatively. But I do not buy that story, nor do most people. The story I believe is that she cares about people on both sides of the aisle, and that is what is going to cost her her show. And so on a lighter note, on a more happy note, constitutional carry in Texas is looking like it is going to be passed. The Texas Senate passed House Bill 1927 by a vote of 18-13, which will allow permitless carry for Texans who are not restricted by law of owning a handgun. And so no longer will you have to have a concealed carry license or what is now a license to carry. You'll be able to carry without having any license. Texas will now join over 20 states with what has been deemed constitutional carry laws. And Governor Greg Abbott has already said that as soon as the bill hits his desk, he will sign it into law. This has been something that Texans have wanted for a long time, something that has been hotly debated for a long time, and it is finally looking like it is going to be passed. And so this law will put the responsibility of training and understanding of firearms in the hands of Texans. Senator Charles Schwartner of Georgetown said, "This bill to me is a restoration of the belief and trust in our citizens." So it is now on Texans to know how to use a firearm correctly and safely. It is no longer the role of the government to ensure that. That is what this bill is going to do. And because of that, because of some of the issues in the original bill, the Sheriff's Association of Texas said that it would not give its support until certain amendments and clarifications were made. And some of those had to do with temporarily restricting those rights when doing such as in certain situations, such as a traffic stop, if the suspect had a violent criminal record. They could restrict those rights, take the firearm away during the traffic stop, and then restore those rights after the traffic stop was complete, so just to ensure the officer's safety. And so these amendments were made in the Senate, and so now the Sheriff's Association of Texas has issued its support for the bill, and it will now go to conference committee where the two chambers will look to make decisions on amendments approved by the Senate. And so the House now has until May 22nd to support Senate Bill 2247 out of committee, which is the Senate's version of House Bill 1927. And then it has until Tuesday, May 25th to approve legislation in the whole chamber. So this is something that in the next few weeks could become the new reality in Texas, is that you won't have to go and pay to get a license to carry. You won't have to pay to get a permit, but you will have the responsibility as a firearm owner to know how to use it safely and correctly. So again, this could backfire if Texans do not have the sense and the sense of responsibility that the government believes we do. This is the government saying that Texans have the ability to make good decisions without us forcing it on them. And so if you are going to purchase a firearm, I have a firearm under my bed. If you are going to purchase a firearm, before you carry it in public, you need to know how to use it. You need to have training in it. You need to have safety training and accuracy training so that if the situation occurs where you need to use your firearm in order to protect you or someone else, it is second nature to you. It is something that you have confidence in and that you know how to do correctly. So again, if you are going to purchase a firearm and you are going to carry one, know how to use it. Take that responsibility upon yourself. Use that personal responsibility. That way, in the time of need, you can execute what you need to do correctly. I'm Trey Cole. This is The Trey Cole Show. So if you like this show, like, share, and subscribe. If you don't want to watch, you just want to listen, you can listen on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And then you can also watch on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So until next Tuesday, I hope you'll have a great week.